Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. We're talking about cleaning up the garden, and one of the things that we do for soil prep in the spring is, of course, dig your garden up. You've done the fall gardening, you've left it clumpy, you've left it open, allowed to have the snow, the frost, and freezing work on the clumps of soil, help to break them down. And, of course, it's a good way of getting that drainage so that it's not like a smooth surface that can compact easily with melting snow and ice. So, rough digging, right? And you leave it that way. But in the spring, you want to do good prep. And there's a book that is not new. It's in its 8th edition, which will tell you everything. It's sold more than 500,000 copies. It's by John Givons, and with the foreword by Alice Waters. It's distributed in Canada by Random House, and it is an excellent book for vegetables. Okay, but it does cover some fruits and nuts and berries and grains and some other crops as well. What is good about this book is, A, it does soil prep very well. Talk about double digging and how much work it is. It's tough. It's really tough. And it's one of those things that, boy, you don't do it more than every 2-3 years. And that's exactly what this book recommends. You can do single digging, okay, which is fine. You can do cultivation during the season with down, 2 to 4 inches, usually with a hoe, a rake, or other tools. But the nice thing about this one is that this book does show you graphically how to double dig. And that's good, because a lot of people are visual learners, not reading and to understand, and that. So it's always a good thing to have graphics which show how to double dig, but it also explains it in words. So double digging involves the actual trenching, organic matter put in, and then covered up, and then dug up again, and just keep working your way across the garden, usually on the long axis, so that the soil that came out of the first trench is actually going to be going to fill the trench in the other end of the garden, or the last trench. So you're going to need a wheelbarrow. You're going to need garden forks, shovels, etc., in order to go and do proper double digging. It's important that you do this about every 2 to 3 years. It covers it in this book. Covers the organic matter that you can go in and put in there. So it's helpful in that regard. It also shows you how deep different vegetable roots go, and you would not believe it. If you can actually prepare your soil down as deep as you can with double digging, you will find that the plants will actually do better, because they really need to go and get their root systems down. One, it keeps them more moisture consistent, which is always a problem here with more and more people growing heritage tomatoes, which are very susceptible to cat facing and ink and the black bottoms, which is the poor drainage and poor calcium levels and over fertilization. And so this blossom end rot, or black bottoms on the tomatoes, are actually are discouraged by the depth of the roots, because of course you're more moist down deeper and less susceptible to temperature and drying out. Covers that as well. It covers composting. It covers fertilization and using more organics and understanding the bonding so that you don't overuse it and become a problem. It gives you a lot of information on manures. We're talking about solid manures, okay, not liquid manures. And so it'll tell you the amount of carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So all in the different ones. Now they are generic, but at least they're pretty close. So you know how much you're actually putting in there using these materials. And old is not old enough when it comes to those as well. It also goes over different sources for different nutrients which are not chemical. Covers that. It covers seeding. It covers spacing, intensive planting schedules, planting by the moon is covered as well. Type of seeding, methods of seeding, tools such as dibbers and trowels and transplanters and forks and hand forks, etc. Transplanting's covered as well. So we've got spacing, you've got planting time, you've got double digging, you've got the organic material sources with their values, and also when to plant. Now, this goes by soil temperature. It's all covered in here. So you know that lima beans, you know the minimum soil temperature for lima beans is 60 degrees Fahrenheit, the optimum range being between 65 and 85. So you know that the temperatures that a lot of these plants will like in the soil if you're going to be seeding and putting in transplants as well. Radishes is only 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you know why it's considered one of the cold crops, as is turnips. But watermelon, you don't dare plant watermelon before the soil temperatures are 60 degrees Fahrenheit as well. So a lot of plants do require these types of soil. Believe it or not, the tomato plants are 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, I sort of know this, but the optimum is 60 degrees Fahrenheit. But I plant mine early, but I use, of course, the little individual greenhouse covers. So the temperature of the soils, etc., are all a little warmer, and the plants get a good head start. So I'm planting weeks before most people are recommended it as well. There is planting guides in here for related things, which are companion plantings, things that will help for the garden and relationships. It's covered in here as well. So I learned one thing in here, and I probably knew it and forgot it a long time ago, and that was that fava beans can be poisonous to some people from Mediterranean areas, as well as Africa, and from the Asian Rim countries. Didn't know that. Even though they eat them a lot, there are members of those people who are indigenous to those areas that if they eat fava beans, they might as well be taking poison. So, yeah, I didn't know that. It's covered in here, in this book as well. Attracting the insects and plants and birds and other animals that you do want or don't want, and what the controls are, okay? And planting charts and guides, all in here. Let's see if I can find a good one. Let's do something. Oh, let's do Brussels sprouts, because I don't like Brussels sprouts. They should be banned from the world. Brussels sprouts, okay? What you want to do is, for 100 square feet yield, it's in here. You're going to look at probably around 142 pounds if you're really, really tough, really, really good at it. But hey, who knows? The average U.S. yield in pounds per 100 square feet for them is around 36 pounds. So it's 142 sprouts, but about 36 pounds. So maturity, number of weeks, it's all covered. Time of year to plant, okay, spring and fall, and that as well. So all of this is covered in the book by John Levons. It's called How to Grow More Vegetables, Fruits, Nuts, Berries, Grains, and Other Crops. And it's in its 8th edition from Random House here in Canada as well. Well worth it. It's a good book, a good reference book, and it has designs in here to build cold frames, etc., how to put them together, weeds, companion planting, soil prep, all of that, and when to plant and what to plant. And most importantly, since we all seem to garden in the same spot for many years, plant rotations, wet rotation to plant, so that you don't keep using the same nutrients as well. And they even cover some of the flowers and herbs as well. Sunflowers hate being planted in succession in the same spot year after year. So rotate them, get them out, get something else in there for at least a year, and then 3 years is better. If you can do a 2 to 3 year rotation, you're much better. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. Please listen to my radio show on CFBU 103.7 FM Saturday mornings from 8 till 9 and streaming online at cfbu.ca.